A Steam game called Journey of the Light has come under some controversy for potentially scamming its buyers. The European Commission is proposing an end to regional pricing, and World of Warcraft subscribers have dropped 44% in 6 months. How will these stories affect you? My name is Mooseman, and I'm here to inform you of that very answer on today's episode of PC Gaming News Weekly. Journey of the Light, a game that was released on Steam back in May, has been in a light of controversy recently, as it was discovered that instead of just being extremely challenging to figure out, there were actually no levels implemented at all beyond the first level. The game was purportedly designed to be extremely challenging, to the point of requiring the community to work together to find a solution. Found the solution they did, as Steam user Depuza was able to decompile the game files and determine that the only thing included into the game was the very first chapter. It gets even better, as the developer claimed it was a bug and it would roll back to a complete state, which safe to say has not happened yet, because he came down with a sudden sickness that resulted in him being unable to see. In a surprising move, Valve has actually taken down the ability to buy the game, along with enabling anyone with the game, regardless of how long they played it, to refund the game. This is a great move by Valve, and definitely will earn them some PR points, but let's talk about if Valve are still responsible for letting this game get on Steam in the first place. It's actually not beyond reason that even in a regulated environment, that a game like this could slip through as a game that is truly hard. The game lasted 2 months on Steam before real proof was actually uncovered. While it's unlikely that a game designed to be specifically challenging would ever be that hard to even beat the first level, it doesn't prove that the game was a scam, which is why when these scam games do come to light, it shows that this is an extremely dangerous situation to maintaining a healthy market of indie titles. Although Steam opened up the refund policy, the developer who created the game is still going to walk away at least a few dollars richer. Scam artists may see this as an example of how to get around both community regulation and Steam regulation. The Journey to the Light developer made mistakes, such as not creating additional arbitrary levels and also not making up evidence to defend his claims that the levels did exist. But I guess at that point, it's so much work that a scam artist would at that point just try to make a full game. The European Commission has proposed to end regional pricing, a move that would change the pricing of digital games and other digital services to be the same across the EU, in addition to forcing everyone in the EU to have access to the same online services. Although this may sound like a good idea, nothing good will come of this for anyone in gaming. Developers choose to lower the price of games and provide different services to Eastern EU countries because the gamers in these countries have a lot less disposable income. Forcing parity across regions will most likely just end up in increasing piracy, as gamers are unable to afford games at the more Western prices. Although the EU wants to become more and more connected, especially in a digital environment, ignoring the disparity in income levels in favor of unity is more idealistic than realistic in this scenario. World of Warcraft subscribers have plummeted over the past 6 months from over 10 million to 5.6 million as a result of players being unhappy with the Warlords of Draenor expansion. As someone who played World of Warcraft through 3 expansions, this drop in subscribers honestly doesn't surprise me at all. Every time there's an expansion, older players inevitably come back to see if what has changed and try to recapture the magic that was present in 2005. After interviewing some WoW players and looking at the forums, however, there are also a lot of major grievances that most players have that go beyond a simple drop of numbers after an expansion. Firstly, there have been issues with the balancing in PvP between races. Each race of character has one inherent special ability, and humans on the Alliance faction have the undisputed best ability that allows them to get out of stuns and other crowd control instantly. This problem has been present for a long time, and thus over time the more serious PvP gamers have moved over to the Alliance faction, so much so that it has become very hard for people on the Horde, which is the opposing faction, to win PvP events. The next issue has been an integration of garrisons, which was marketed as houses for your character, but rather turned into a Farmville-esque minigame that involved you sending out your troops to do daily and time-restricted missions. Finally, there has been a lack of engaging content overall, but especially for people who want to do raids, and a fair amount of cut content that was initially promised but then cancelled. The new expansion announced earlier today at Gamescom could potentially bring some of those subscribers back, and most likely will, but the loss of goodwill caused by this current expansion could prevent WoW from ever recovering from this massive hit to its subscriber base. That wraps up PC gaming news for this week, but the discussion doesn't end there. Leave a comment down below about today's topics and we can continue the discussion further. Also, subscribe, as every Thursday I'll be covering all the relevant PC gaming news I can. So make sure during the week to send me stories that you think are relevant on my Twitter at mo05eman or as linked in the description below.